So, welcome to these battle reports from the Plymouth PAW, Plymouth Association of Wargaming show earlier this year. This was a 28mm kind of era of the Romans competition. The theme really being classical textbook Roman armies, pretty much the whole period of, in inverted commas, Roman history from sort of the start of the Republic to the end of the Roman Empire. And this was the reason I was so keen on going, and my whole basis for the army choice. You may have seen this on the website. These are some 28mm Foundry Republican Romans, Marian Romans really, with little big man shield transfers that I'd painted up and carted about at great cost and expense. Great labour of love really. And here you see 3, 6, 9, 12 units of Roman legionaries. You've got 2 included generals. You've got 6, 7 with the red shields and 3 with the blue shields in the traditional way of distinguishing different types of units. These are all kind of, the red shield guys are pretty much either all armoured or mostly armoured. The blue shield guys are lesser armoured, so obviously they're the second line troops, and 3 generals at the front. And my whole approach to the event was really to see how many of these buggers can I get on table, because I painted up as many as I can. And look, there you go. There's the commander. So included commanders was very much going to be a must. These kind of dark shields, a bit like the Gladiator film where the Praetorians come with all their sort of black and dark purple stuff. Here's another standard unit with the great wings and things. Really good to do LBMS transfers, really difficult to blend them in, but I'm quite pleased with how that's worked out as well. And I've stuck them all on at sort of slightly jaunty angles as well to give them a bit of dynamism, so they're not just all standing to attention. That's a slightly bigger block that you see there of 16, two units there. Again, you can sort of see they're all quite stabby, not too many people hurling pilums or carrying pilums. I quite like them sort of in a rugby scrum kind of approach. And there are some of the sort of second string guys, as you can see, they're all wearing red, not too much armour there, and with blue, so that they're much easier to spot as well. But they're easy to spot from behind when you're driving them, because there is no armour there too. So it's not as front only from perspective. And I'd also painted up these Gladiators. These are Crusader miniatures from North Star, very compatible with Foundry. Some the units of Gladiators are not particularly special in this list, but they're just kind of cool, and you've got to have them, doing some of the sort of 2-layer flesh stuff to make them look like they've got sort of texture. And just as an aside really, this blue is a contrast paint. I think it's Thalasar blue on a white background, then some black here, and this is the new Warlord Fanatic yellow. This is demonic yellow. This is yellow painted on black with just one coat straight out the bottle, which I think is slightly miraculous. And this effect here, I believe, I think it was a series of white blobs. Well, I don't think they were yellow. I'm pretty sure they were white blobs that I did to create this effect, and then did a kind of pseudo wash over it with what I suspect was Mantis Warrior Green, which is a GW contrast paint, to give it that kind of textured laurel wreath effect, which you know, bit of an aside, but I'm pretty chuffed with it. It's it's not a transfer, which is a miracle, so worth commenting on. So yeah, these were the guys. This was what it was all about, getting a long line of these Roman legionaries on table. They're very good against proper opponents, but they do come unstuck against cataphracts in particular, as the Romans did against the Parthians many times. So I was hoping not to fight too many of them. Didn't work out too well. I did have a camp there which was technically unfortified, but you've got to bring that one if you're bringing Romans, true. And a few Victrix skirmishers out front, and you'll see some more Victrix plastic troops mixing in with them a bit later on. So what was my list? Well, the strategy behind this list was, how many of those 12 legionaries can I really use? And the answer there is 4 there. 4 there is up to 8, and then another 9, 10 in here, which is not bad really. I'm using all 3 of the red ones there, 3 more red ones there, heavy swordsman armor impact, and then the extra red one fits in here. So that's all 7 of the red shielded guys, 1 of the blue guys, so 2 of the blue guys kind of stayed at home, and 2 of the black shielded guys, the legionaries, the commanders, which I've got 2 of. Both included competent, pretty bold, especially if you just see my reports on the Swiss and Alicante. But if you're going to use them, you've got to use them, haven't you? They're Romans, and that's what they needed to do, particularly against pikes. It gives them an advantage, as we'll see a bit later on. And then two pretty similar commands. This one, they've both got a couple of light infantry. This one has the two medium swordsmen gladiators to lurk in a bit of terrain. Just vanilla medium swordsmen, they don't do anything particular. Only the commanders are impact elite. It would be great to have them all impact elite, but that's just a lot more points. That's 3, 6, 7. That'd be 14 more points. You'd be losing 2 legionaries out of that, which would be kind of grim. And then here, this is using the elephant, the Victrix elephant. You'll see later. A couple of Numidians to give it some width and a bit more scouting points. Numidian light infantry javelinmen. 2 legionaries, 1 okay, 1 a bit crap. That's just sort of absorbing stuff, but it's still armoured, gives it quite a bit of resilience even if it's not going to do a breakthrough. A heavy cavalry to go with the 2 Numidians, and 2 Thracians. I quite like the Thracians. They're good rough terrain troops. They just give you a bit of extra clout. They can go with the elephant or they can go on their own, and a Cretan to sit in front along with the Numidian javelin in front of the elephant. So that was the army, which got a surprisingly high initiative with brilliant 2 competence, that's +2, and then all the light infantry gives it +3 initiative, which is not bad at all. Allows the legions to leap across the table and have a bit of control over terrain. So what happened in the first game? I ended up fighting Parthians, what I probably didn't want to do, and didn't do too badly with the terrain. Managed to get down a couple of bits of, I think this might have been brush or rough. Got down a hill there, got down a forest by the looks of it, or possibly a plantation, can't quite remember. And at least I cluttered up quite a lot of the terrain and stuck my legions behind it. The Parthians had all their cataphracts and their Camel-mounted here in this real blob. A couple of, I think they might have been javelinmen or swordsman infantry, a couple of light horse sticking about there. And then this was a big sort of medium cavalry command as well, which was kind of unusual. So I'd matched up with all the legions and the gladiators to go sit in this terrain, just to try and see if they can funnel themselves down and see if I can do anything there. And then with my elephant Death Star over on this side, which gave me a surprisingly good opportunity to push this kind of mostly medium cavalry command over that way. And push into it and actually do some constructive damage. And a couple of crap spearmen there as well, which was a nice target. So what did that army look like? First up, micro command, 2 cataphracts and 2 light infantry sling. That drops down, doesn't tell you too much when deployment order comes in. Up next, 4 medium cavalry bow. There were 2 cataphracts over there. I think they're probably out on this side. Horse archer, a couple of light infantry bow, the Greek militia spearmen, which you saw over there, another horse archer, and then this is the other bit. So you've got 6 cataphracts in total there, and the javelinmen, which I thought they were, and some horse archers. So let's just see where they were again. So I think there are 2 Camel-mounted, 2 more cataphracts possibly there. There may have been another one over there. 2. Maybe I undercooked that actually. Maybe there's 3. No, 2 Camel-mounted, 2 cataphracts, 2 more cataphracts there. So not as many cataphracts as there could have been. So let's see how that one panned out. Well, what panned out was that this bit of rough terrain, I'd sort of forgotten about the Camel-mounted, even though I've used it myself within the last 6 months. And they, being camels, can just march over rough terrain in a way that the cavalry-based ones, the horse-based ones, just can't do. So, and these are all 3D prints, in case you're wondering what they are. So I was sort of trying to just bravely absorb what's coming with the legions and push very quickly over on this left-hand side. So skirmish screen to try and keep these light horse shooters away from me. The Camel-mounted are coming forward. I've sort of split them up. That's not bad, but you know, it is going to be these 3 guys trying to be brave against these cataphracts who are better than them when they come in. And with the extra forces that were coming down this side, you can see I'd actually chucked a heavy infantryman over there just to create a bit of a target well, as a blocker for the 2 light horse, working with the 2 gladiators, but actually they're just getting completely outnumbered. But in some ways, you know, these guys are going to sort of go down to cataphracts, and what I've sort of achieved here is to split the cataphracts up. I've not got a solid line of cataphracts hitting my legionaries, so it is all about slowing this thing down, stopping them just whizzing around the back, putting a little bit of pressure on the pips and things like that, and splitting them up. So, you know, they're in a lot of trouble. They're going to struggle to survive this, particularly these guys. But it has broken up the cataphracts and possibly gives the legions a bit of a chance. And that's a slightly different perspective on it. You know, the horse archers are shooting back at the gladiators. Here, there's a few javelin men coming in, but the rest of the cataphracts are coming down. And I've shoved this block of 3 forward. They're going to bear the brunt of this 3 cataphract charge, but it does mean the rest of these guys are not engaged yet. So I'm sort of expecting, if I can lose 1 command to all of the cataphracts, almost all of the cataphracts, that's not a bad outcome really. Over on the other side, the cataphracts have actually tried to come down the end of the line, which means the elephants having a good old go at them, supported by the legionaries. My Numidians have scooted past and chased away some light troops. So again, I've kind of got these cataphracts in a place of not doing too much, and it's sort of allowing my 1 cavalryman, my heavy infantry to come in and try and target these spearmen. There's still a bit of a problem here with these medium cavalry. It's just 4 medium cavalry shooters is too wide for me to chase everything away. But if I can engage the cataphract, the elephant comes back into play, get these legionaries out. It's not, you know, it's not terrible, but it's a real stretch. I'm really being stretched across the table by the deployment of the Parthians over here. So the elephant fails to deal with the cataphract initially, which is a bit of a pain. Gets hit in the flank by the other cataphract general. Looks like some of the cavalry have split out to chase my Numidians away, and suddenly that thing that should have punched a hole through them. Cataphracts don't really like elephants, but these are brave cataphracts, has done well. My cavalryman who's chased too far has now been mugged by those 2 cavalry who stayed behind as he raced past them. One's come in here, one's chased off my Numidians, and suddenly I'm a bit overextended here, and that's not looking as good, but there's still a few solid infantry around. Over here, the Camelfracts are busy chewing things up completely in rough terrain into the flank of those. That's a 2-hit marker. That's not great. These guys have all got in a solid line. The light infantry have given them overlaps. That's not great either. The idea of splitting them up, it's all about how brave these guys are going to be in combat now, and they're not that brave. The general's not taken a hit, but these have taken 2 hits each. Could be worse, but that's going to be hard to recover from. That places that one 1-0 up with better armor. That one's 1-0 up with better armor. That one's probably elite as well. This will be kind of 2-1 to me with the general still alive, which is good. But you can see the gladiators gone, and now these guys are going to be isolated as well. And this second line could be called into combat quite soon. Boom, boom, 2 big holes. Not great at all. Yeah, only the general's now standing, and suddenly he's double overlapped. He's in a lot of problems as well. My attempt to shore up that by bringing up a support hasn't really worked, but at least there's a possibility of continuing the combat there without the cataphracts being able to charge in. Over here, my heavy infantry is sort of in play. They're chasing off some of these medium cavalry, pushing a bit further back towards the baggage, taking a few shooting casualties. I'm trying to get into these crappy spearmen, and I think that might be a big hit. Yeah, some big hit markers at the back, 2 hits. The Thracians should be great at chopping them up. The legions should be really good at chopping them up, but they're not just blowing them away quite as quickly as they could. And I've not really done any damage onto these, so this is really slipping away from me at a rate of knots now, as that sort of gets even closer. The elephant, boom, is gone. But it has got a cataphract. He's finally got a cataphract, but the cavalry coming back has allowed the general to sort him out. Still leaving guys here, but there's just casualties mounting up everywhere really for me, and this little force is going to chew this lone guy up as well. This guy's looking ready to start to get mugged, I think, potentially, and that was kind of it. So yeah, that was the end of that game, and you saw a quick sneak peek there of the list for the second game. It's a defeat though in game 1 for the Romans.